Look where housing starts were in the late 90s. Look where they are today. Higher today than the late 90s. The recession, hardly any impact. What happened? Low interest rates. The housing starts are very, very sensitive to the interest rates. Why do we look at the starts? We look at the starts, not the completions, because we want a leading indicator. You're looking at the starts, that gives you some idea of what will happen. Look at completion, gives you an idea of what has happened. You want a forward look, better to look at the starts than the finishes. So we look at the starts. Seasonally adjusted at an annual rate. Very important. Now, look at this amazing record from 1 million starts a year, 1,000. Well, you can see this scale is wrong. It says a millions up there, and it has the number 1,000 here. It wasn't billions, it was only millions. So either we change that millions to thousands, or we eliminate 3 zeros, right? So this should be 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, if we're going to have millions. But anyway, we had about 1 million starts in 1990, and we have over 2 million today. So there's been tremendous progress going north. And none of the volatility we had in the past. Very interesting. Question is why? We'll get to that. We'll talk about why. Now, you might ask this question. What is responsible for this major peak in the early 70s? How come we've never exceeded that peak? Might be a question you ask. Yes, Keith?
That's the baby boom. All of the new housing that came online for the millions of people coming into the...
I've got another idea.
Okay.
My idea is apartments.
Oh.
Apartment construction, because what happened is there was extensive federal subsidies and tax incentives for apartment house construction for subsidized housing. So that explains the big boom in the early 1970s. Housing starts includes apartments as well as single-family residences. Each apartment, not the entire building, each apartment counts. It doesn't matter how many square feet. If you have a mansion that has 10,000 square feet and you have an apartment building that has 10,000 square feet, even though each apartment is only 1,000 square feet and there's 10 apartments, each of them counts as a unit. So in order to get at the value, of course, you'd need the data for the actual dollar volume of construction. Okay, so in a way, the fact that these are just starts, no matter of the square footage, is a disadvantage. But in a way, it's not, because like the auto sales, what is not included here that's helpful? In other words, which is a terrible way to put the question, isn't it? But what I'm trying to get to is this is physical volume, just like the auto sales. So there are no prices, no inflation. You don't see any distortion because of inflation here. Price is going up. That's out of this. It's just the physical number of units. So it's a very good number.